like kind of doing like the Mick and then the Banks just felt like Banks, I'm gonna keep it a buck, was definitely like very random, but like I kind
No,
of
it fits. It
felt a
literally
little
fits.
bit.
Like bank shot, but also bars.
Hmm.
That's
There
crazy.
you go. There you go.
I don't know what we're headed for.
What's the origin story of Mick Banks? When did you start pursuing music?
It's a great question. Um, I don't know. I mean, it actually like kind of, I guess like back in the day, my mom like made me take piano lessons, you know what I mean? Like when I was really little. And I remember it was like it was like this like just like woman in some like random church basement who was like giving me lessons, and she was it was like pretty strict, you know what I mean? It was like he's like you have to do all these things, whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like it's probably at like 5, 6 years old. I would like kind of like come home, you know what I mean? I was supposed to be practicing throughout the week, and like instead I would kind of be like taking some of what she would like tell me and then just like making my own songs. And so I would come back like and like she would be kind of tight because it was like okay, you just didn't like, you know what I mean, do any of what you were supposed to do. But I would have like these songs that I thought were cool, you know what I mean, that I would
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
in,
Making your own
dismiss them,
thing.
whatever. But I think um anyway, so then like after, but I kind of hated it. So after a while, I was like, yeah, like I definitely like want to stop this, and then stopped like pretty early on, and then I think it was like maybe around like there's kind of like I would say, and maybe I'm trying to do too much like analyzing here, but I think as like a producer and artist and whatever, all
Mhm.
these things that have kind of come together now, they all had kind of separate origin stories a little bit. Like, so I
Mhm.
was in terms of like the production, it was like that's kind of part of the origin story. And then I was like, I think 13, my sister like was like kind of like singing and like
Mhm.
playing like ukulele and stuff. This is kind of like
Oh,
the whole like Vance Joy, like you know what I
oh,
mean,
yep.
like
That era.
playing ukulele the
Ukulele,
era.
yeah.
Yeah, and then just honestly like just out of straight competition, I was like, man, like fuck that, like I'm about to like start learning an instrument. So then I went back to piano just up by myself and started like kind of grinding on that, just like out of the sibling rivalry. Uh,
That's
so then from there it was like then I kind of was playing more instruments, started learning guitar, whatever. And then on the other side, like just like I feel like rap and hip hop just like has like always like been one of my like first loves really. It was like
yeah,
my
yeah,
my
same.
first two albums that my dad got me were like it was Nellyville,
Oh, yeah.
and then this like Jay-Z like hits compilation. So I just always had
Oh,
those like on rotation. From there I just like kind of fell in love with it, and like was like I guess started kind of rapping in high school, just like kind of messing around with people, just like putting out stuff mostly as like jokes and stuff. But then I remember it was kind of like I don't know, it just hit a point where like everyone around me was kind of just like for fun, and like we were just like fucking around, and then I remember like kind of at a certain point I was like, damn, like I low key like kind of want to take this seriously. I really
yeah.
like this is like I love
That's
this, you
it.
know what I mean? And then that kind of intersected with the producing. This is a really long answer, but like
No,
kind of
no,
over
no.
the
I love it.
over the pandemic, that's when I like really just like had um a lot of time on my hands. I kind of got connected with this producer and engineer, this dude Hamsting, who like kind of put me on to really like everything I know about production. So he was like teaching me how to produce, and then kind of the knowledge from the like instruments and stuff, and then also like the rapping that I had been doing kind of all came together, and then I started really like making shit.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I mean when I think about it, all my favorite artists are usually like producer, half rapper, or like just delved into both worlds, whether it be like Ye or Tyler, like so
Mm-hmm.
so as soon as I found your music, I was like just blown away. Like, first off, your production is just another level. Like, I think production alone, like, you already have like a career just off of that. So you being able to tell your own story and you know, just create your own world, with especially with this project, Stay Out the Garage. I think it's
Mm,
just such an interesting narrative, and it can't get more authentic than you producing it and you writing all the
mm,
lyrics. So it's
mm.
like it's really, really impressive. So I'd like to hear more about like when you started it. You know, when did the concept come to you, or what's the timeline of the project?
Yeah. Timeline of the project is like a minute, honestly. Like kind of, I think I had like trying to remember. So I actually like kind of started producing, started like really like working on shit for real in like 2020. And
Okay.
I put out like an initial project at that point, that like is out there on Spotify. I'm gonna keep it under wraps because like I listen to it and I'm like, this is ass. But definitely like kind of made that, and I guess like it was coming out at kind of like a very tumultuous time in my life, and I made that project and I wasn't really able to like kind of capture all the emotions that were going on at that time. And I was realizing that I had these very like kind of just like a lot of anger, a lot of confusion, whatever, coming out of this time, and that wasn't really captured in that project. And so I think like kind of immediately after like the release of that, so maybe like around like the start of 2021, I was starting to make a lot of kind of more of these like more intense songs. Kind of some of them originally, a lot of them were kind of like rock influenced,
Mm.
and like more rock and more rap, that I have been doing. And a lot of like, yeah, a lot of emotion coming out in them, and it's just like it just felt like, I don't know, like Stay Out the Garage, like just I don't know. It's like that the name came early in some of those initial songs, and then basically like all of the songs on it have been made at like different times, pretty much like starting, yeah, 3 years ago, and then just going through
Wow.
now. Yeah.
Dang, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you put a lot of time and it shows. Um,
Yeah, thank you.
I like that you mentioned like rock influences. I'm pretty curious, like what are some of the whether musical or maybe just life influences in general um that you can hear in the album.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was always like just listening to like a bunch of like random shit because my dad was always like playing like just like
Old school.
the most like crazy range of like artists.
Mhm.
Um, just growing up.
Mhm.
And then some is like kind of just what I get inspired by and whatever. But yeah, so it's funny. It's like and the influences come out in weird ways too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's people who like I like love just like or just as a kid was like super inspired by, like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, as unfortunate as it is to say, like Kanye, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like you
Yeah, that's
can't deny it, you know what I mean? Just as a kid, like so inspirational, and like um
sure.
like, so there's people like that that definitely like the influence comes through, and I love them. And then there's also like people that like kind of influence it and I feel drawn to,
Mhm.
but I don't even listen to that much. You know what I mean? Which is kind of like an
Yeah.
interesting thing. But
I
it's like I think like Earth Gang, JID, I
yeah.
fuck with them definitely. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I feel like I don't like listen to them like that much. But I
No.
also feel like I when I'm making music for whatever reason, and I guess this is just like the cool thing about
Hmm.
like the creative process or whatever, but like
Yeah.
is like it feels like I'm more influenced by like some of their stuff than I am by um I was just trying to think of like a rant like Saba or something, who I
Yeah.
listen to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
100%.
really, really like your use of like the phone call. I think her name was like Lynette, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it starts off with like a phone call, like, "Oh, you left your door like wide open."
Hmm.
Where did that like idea come from with like people calling in and stuff like that?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I guess like I don't know. I think like one thing that I wanted to do with this project is like kind of make it a little bit more like textured and a little bit more immersive than my last project. And because I think a lot of like my favorite like albums, you know what I mean, like kind
Yeah,
of have these little moments of like life sprinkled into them where it doesn't just feel like oh this is just like a manufactured song, you know what I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
like
yeah.
on the radio or something, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
kind of a little bit more like yeah, I don't know, like
Draws you in, bro. It's like more of
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. It's like and I feel like I'm so inspired by like movies and stuff, you know what I mean? That it's like
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, it kind of just all comes together. Um, but yeah, so I guess like that actually kind of came together pretty late in the process. It was like there was one voicemail on one of the later songs that was just like a random like voicemail that like someone who called the wrong number left. Um
Oh,
and
that's so sick.
yeah, on Circus. And then
Yo,
I kind of like I knew I wanted to put that in. And then it was like then I was just kind of as I was finishing up the project really and like thinking about concept of the garage and everything like um I was just like I was going through all my voicemails and like finding a lot of things that kind of fit the either the themes or like how I wanted to tell the story. You know, I
yeah,
like
yeah.
Lynette, my neighbor, like is always like kind of just like
Calling you.
she's a little nosy, you know what I mean? Shout out
That's
Lynette though.
funny.
I love Lynette, but like she you know what I mean? She like there's so many voicemails where she's like hey, you forgot to close your door, you know what I mean?
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was just like, and then somehow with like in that opening that felt like very ominous and stuff, like it
Mhm.
just felt like it was just like, whoa, you know what I mean? She's
What's going
like,
on, bro? Yeah, it's really
yeah,
cool.
exactly, you know what I mean?
That is
Yeah,
so sick. I like just knowing that Lynette is actually a real person is like so so cool.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I love how that's like the intro kind of brings you into like, oh man, I'm in for a ride. And
Mm-hmm.
then it goes right into like Saloon and incredible song. I think it's like one of the first songs with the features. And
Yeah.
I love to hear more about like how you got to work with Dome Deca, and I don't want to say his name wrong. It's like
Stop. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stav. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
how'd you meet them and start working together?
Yeah. Well, Stav. Shout out both of them, first of all.
Yep.
Stav, uh, that's like one of my best friends. That's one of
Okay.
my brothers. And I met him a few years ago at school and like yeah, we just started making music together. So like really that was like pretty we're just always making music together, always like kicking it. So it was like that was just like I was just like, yo, like I'm working on this song. Like I think he's got very um, and I'm jumping around a little bit, but like back to your question about the influences too, like Saloon was a song where it was like, um, yeah, I feel like somewhat like Earth Gang influence, but then it
Yeah.
was also like I was listening to like a lot of Bob Dylan at the time, and like there's a couple songs, but specifically like Tombstone Blues is like this song where like he's just like painting this like crazy picture. It's like very like surrealist, you know what I mean? Which is
Yeah, yeah.
like and I love that song and the lyrics and like I kind of like for Saloon was like damn like I feel like it would be cool if I brought like kind of a I think on a lot of the songs on the album and just in my music in general like I really like am trying to like stay away from like tropes because like I think just like as a rapper like I think most of us like when you're just writing, it's like it's very easy to like fall into like just like okay, like let me wrap up the yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? And so I was kind of like thinking on that one, like, yo, like what if I could bring like what if I kind of just was like brought like surrealism to rap, you know what I mean? Not to say that
Yeah,
it hasn't been done, but just like,
do it well though. That's really
you know
cool.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it. And so like that, so really it's like very like it was Bob Dylan inspired, even though it sounds nothing like something that he would do. Um and Stav like has a very like very poetic like way of writing and stuff. And so I was like yeah, like gotta get this dude on the track. So I really just like I was just kicking it with him. I was like, yo, would you want to hop on this? um and then Dome Deca, I've worked with less, but that's the homie. They were at RISD um until last year, and they're like just a singer that I got connected to.
Mm.
And I was hearing this like this part, um this like vocal line, and like I was like, I can't really sing like that. Stop can rap his ass off. He can't really sing like that. And then just at the time, someone connected me to Dome Deca, so I got them on it. They killed it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really fun. Yeah.
that's dope, man. Yeah, no, it's a I think one of the just stellar tracks that are like, oh yeah, this guy is like about to deliver a crazy message with a I don't know. That's where I got a initial grasp of your production. I mean, same with Jumpin' too. I think Jumpin' was one of the first songs. Oh yeah, was the first song I heard from you. Um, when did you make Jumpin' actually? Because I know you released that like a while back, right? So was that like the first song you made for the project or for music?
Um, yeah, yeah, well, no, actually, it was like, but the first one that I finished for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and at that point, I think I was in a more of like a kind of like just like fun, like you know what I
Excited.
mean,
Yeah,
energy turn
excited.
up kind of mode.
Mhm.
Um, in my music, and it was kind of like earlier on in college that I made that. And so that like I was also just thinking about I was starting to perform like for real for the first time, and so like was like definitely thinking about like what type of music would like be good for like crowds and stuff, you know.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you started performing already. You have you how many performances have you done so far?
Uh at this point, I mean like they're all like, pretty small.
Low
But
keys, yeah.
like probably probably like 20.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
bro.
there's
Sick.
like there's a real music scene going on at Brown. And then last semester we like me, it was actually me, Stav, Osiris, who's on the project,
Mhm.
Dayla, who is on one of my singles,
Yep.
and
That's pretty cool.
Taj, who's a singer, and this dude JD, who's a bassist. We all went on like this little like tour thing that
Oh,
Ida
wow.
and Issa, my other dude, um, like kind of managed. And
Oh, made it happen. Oh, that's sick.
yeah, yeah. So we just went around to like different colleges and stuff, and did shows.
That's so dope. Yeah, I didn't realize how interwoven you are with like I mean Ida puts me on to like a bunch of artists. Like anytime like I think even Style, she sent me like his latest release and like
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys are all crazy talented. So it's crazy that
Mm.
you guys are all in the same bubble over there creating music.
Yeah,
Um
yeah. No, I'm glad.
but yeah, Knock on Wood was another pretty stacked one. How'd you get to working with Osiris and is it BB Sophia? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 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 yeah. BB Sophia, BB Soph.
So
She Yeah, so that was actually like I was staying in New York like the summer before last. So this one was like probably like one of the I think this is probably like the second one that I finished. But yeah, we were all over there. I was like that one I was just it was like my uncle, I was staying at my uncle's house, and he had this like kind of like shitty like plastic like toy guitar, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a real guitar. And I was just like messing around on it one day, kind of played that little like bass line,
Mhm.
and I was like, ooh, this like sounds like a bank robbery to me, or like something like that. You know what I mean? And so like and so a lot of these tracks like kind of going back to what I was saying about the kind of movies like inspiring me is like a lot of them were made like literally like more like with a vision of like a visual than like the actual like song, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And
that's
so
sick.
I was like, yeah, this is like it's like bank robbery. And I was starting to make it and I kind of was like writing my verse a little bit, but I was like, this needs something grimy. So I'm like and Stav and Osiris have been like coming through a lot because they're based like around New York as well.
Mm.
Um and and so they were coming through like Stav laid down his and I was like, yep, this is what we need. It's kind of like yeah, just grimy, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
yeah, and I was messing around, made this beat switch and then like Osiris kind of has a little bit more of that like swagger and I was like thinking like kind of like post heist, you know what I mean? Like
Nice. That's a
yeah,
good
this is
name
like
as
the kind
well.
of energy I need. So it's like then he came in and did his thing and then Soph yeah, I was just I don't know. I love just like having like one people that can like sing and two like female vocals like on my tracks just on the choruses and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she was just out there. She came through, hopped on.
That is sick. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that song too. I think there's like tones. They're pretty different around the project, but like most of them are just like very just intense tones. I think
Mhm.
Teeth is a good example. I think Teeth
Mm,
is one of my personal favorite songs, just because like
word.
it's dark, the
Yeah.
flow is crazy. Uh,
Hmm.
man, yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. I think did you make like a visual for it or anything
Yeah,
like
I kind of I guess like extended like the outro and then kind of like turned that into more of like a composition thing. And then I had filmed some stuff, put together like a little edit
it's so sick.
for that like kind of extended composition. But still working on the visuals, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Still
know. I think your visuals are pretty sick too, man. I love like I think there's something about like a black and white and like noir um
mm,
that I love. I don't know if like that was something you're always planning for the project or even intended like are
mm.
visuals something you consider when uh you know
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely like I think it kind of changes as it goes on, but for this one, like, um I don't even know if I had like the black and white vision at first
Mhm.
uh at all actually. But then it was funny, I was working with this girl Chloe who did my album cover just on like a photo shoot. It was actually gonna be like the shoot for Saloon. I was gonna drop it as a single.
Mhm.
And we did this shoot and she just randomly like threw in like a black and white she had like a black and white camera, took that the album cover, me on the couch and just as like a kind of like whatever type of thing, like B roll, whatever.
Mhm.
Um and I was going through to look for the Saloon album or single cover, and I was like, I saw that, and I was like, oh, yo, like this is the album cover, like no question. And like now, I kind of was like, okay, and it's like a black and white, like
One thing.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, super cool. I love I don't know, it adds a lot more character when you have like visuals to accompany certain s- a visual to accompany the songs and it's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. Circus, bro. I think Circus,
Mm-hmm.
that one blew me away production wise. I think that one was just so crazy. I've never heard anything like it. I think just like the animal noises in the back, the like a little text to speech part, like that
Yeah.
was crazy. What was it like to produce that track?
Yeah. It's so funny because like, and I don't know if we're getting into it later, but like, you know, some tracks like just took so much like time and like energy, whatever, like
Yeah.
when it get dark, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, when it get dark.
Circuit, like kind of just like I was like I found this like acapella sample. It was like a Lolita Hathaway like
Mm.
acapella like track that I
Yeah.
had from a while ago. I like accidentally clicked on it and there was just one like pow, you know what I mean, thing from
Yeah.
it. I was like I heard that and I was like I suddenly just like had like the full vision, you know what I mean?
That's so cool.
And it's just like I don't know how it like it just sometimes works like that, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like it's just funny because it was like Circus, like I finished the beat probably in like an hour, you know what I mean? And that was like
That's
2
crazy.
weeks before like I was gonna like be done with the album. And so I was just like I literally just like kind of made it like real fast. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, let me put a verse on it. So that just like it's the most like random one, but like
Yeah,
in a way that I think is like fun because it's like
it
I think
is.
like the
Sure.
fun comes through in it, and I think that's the
Mhm.
thing that like the album needed a little bit because it's
Yeah.
like something like When It Get Dark. It's like I put so much work into that, and it's like
Mhm.
and I think you can like feel it, but it also feels very serious. You know what I mean? So I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like kind of like
Um,
shows just a little bit of like I don't know. It's just like you know what I mean? Like it's
it,
spontaneous. I guess I don't know.
yeah, no, it is crazy. I think I mean, even throughout the album, there's just moments where there's chants that I just love. Like I think on Circus it was like don't be scared, come inside.
Hmm.
And like
Hmm.
it's just crazy. Like I don't know what you do. Like if you just go in the studio and ask a bunch of people to like to like do those like choir vocals.
Hmm.
Um, you know what, like let's just jump into like When It Get Dark. Like
Hmm.
that's probably just one of I think your strongest song. I mean, you said you put a lot of effort into it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, I love that song, man. Like especially
Hmm.
that outro part with like the guitar
Hmm.
solo.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to hear more about how you created that song for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, that one like I had kind of made like the verse beat and like just like the I mean, yeah, I guess the beat for most of the song and just like put it away for a while and then just like was like feeling like I don't know, it had some kind of like spooky energy to it and kind of came up with a chorus and then I was like just feeling like I wanted to like really like have like a storytelling song.
Yeah.
Um and um and yeah, that one just like felt like I mean, yeah, like I said, it was just like that one like I would say the writing of it took like a long time. I was like sending like drafts like to like like a lot of like Osiris style
Mm,
my mom like they were all like just like kind of like workshopping it and so it was like a lot of work on that front and then the actual beat and everything is like that I think that's definitely probably the biggest like project file that I've ever like made. It was
wow.
like 300
Yeah,
tracks or something.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and like doing like even like the choir, it was like this I also feel like this is kind of like feels like the climax of the album and felt like
Definitely.
the like bringing together someone told me at the like album listening party that I did that it feels like the Avengers kind of coming together too.
Yes, coming
Like
together at the end.
it
But
was like, yeah, and it's like everyone that I work with, except for like the rappers, because obviously I'm the only rapper on it, kind of
mm,
coming together, whereas like my friend JD, who we went on tour with, was like playing some bass on it. Dayella was like singing on the chorus.
wow.
Um and then outro, and I know we're about to get cut off for a second.
Oh, no, no worries.
But um outro was like I had this like choir idea in my head. Um and so I kind of like wrote out the parts, like the sheet music, whatever, and the lyrics. And I was like, I need a choir for this. And I was trying to like find an actual choir. Because I had seen like that clip of like you ever seen that clip of Kanye like doing the Through the Wire?
Oh yeah, 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 with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to do that, but it's a little harder than you think, you know what I mean? To
Yeah.
acquire. Um, and so I went on Fiverr and I found this like Nigerian choir.
Oh, that's
I-
it.
yeah, and I sent them it was like $50. I like sent them the parts and they sent me back something. And it was fire and but their accents were like very thick, so like I I had to like layer it then with my vocals, with Dayella's vocals, with Christine's vocals, who's on
Dude.
Riot. So it was just like felt like all these things like coming together.
Yeah. I'd love to hear more about the songwriting process for you and how natural it was, especially with this project.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I feel like for this project, it felt pretty natural, I think, because my creative direction was pulling me in whatever way it needed to go. You know what I mean? Like I think that there was a lot of um it's coming out of like a time where there was a lot of like emotions, and I think that they expressed themselves in different ways, I guess, whatever ways they needed to be expressed. And sometimes that looked like Saloon just like getting like painting this like kind of like surrealist, like just chaotic environment. And then um sometimes I mean when it get dark was like kind of based on all of these real experiences kind of threaded together in like through like a fictional narrative, you know what I mean? Um and then some tracks like uh Jesus, can't remember shit. Waiting for the Sun was like just like straight up like you know what I mean, what I was like feeling and stuff. You know what I mean? So it just kind of came out in different ways, you know?
For sure, yeah. I think I mean you mentioned like waiting for the sun. I think if you just like even put like the album on shuffle, there's like I don't know, there's just so many different layers, so many different feelings that whenever you're listening to it, someone will relate more to a certain song at a certain time. And I think that can be difficult to accomplish, but for you, it sounds really, really natural, and it's incredible for a debut album, man, for sure.
Mm. Thank
Um,
you so much.
and yeah, I really, really love the outro too. I don't know, how long that took for you, but like just like the horns in the end and like
Mhm.
euphoric feeling, like
Yeah.
that was that what you wanted to close the album on?
Mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, I was actually like I was that one's definitely like really special to me. And I think that definitely like is not the most like yeah, like I don't know, like just like replayable or something, or like
Yeah.
single minute or something, you know what I mean? But I also feel like it was like seemed to affect people a lot, and regardless, like definitely like that's the one where I listen to it and I'm like at times like just get kind of emotional.
Yeah.
And I feel like it originally I had this like fully different outro, and it was just like it felt like it felt really dark originally. And like I was kind of when I put the whole album together, it was like kind of like the whole thing just felt like very dark, you know what I mean? And it is a dark album,
Mm.
but it was just like, nah, but this isn't like the way that it needs to end, you know what I mean? Because it feels like this big climax on when it get dark, and then kind of like it's not the story that I'm telling is not necessarily just like everything is like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
dark, dark, you know what I mean? And so it was like it's kind of like a bit of a full circle thing, because it was like I had started making the like the whole first half of the last song,
Mm.
Waiting for the Sun, with kind of the guitars and some of the horns and stuff, like, where it's like soft, you know what I mean, and kind of building.
Mhm.
Um, I had made that after the first project, and that felt um kind of more like just uh, like vulnerable and like honest than the first project. And but I just put it to the side, and because it didn't feel like this project. But then I kind of like came back to it because it feels like this, like after When It Get Dark, when like kind of the narrator like gets shot, it's like this whole like big thing. It
Mhm.
felt like it needed kind of like a come down and release, and like we're like kind of moving into like an okay
Yeah.
place.
Good ending, bro. The good ending.
But then it's like that first part felt like a little too like calm and didn't fit with the album
Mm.
as much. And I was like, I kind of felt like I really needed this like cathartic, like,
Yes,
and you know what I mean?
exactly.
And so then that's when that was literally like the very final thing actually that like I did for the album was like make that outro, just like build up those like guitars and synths and like just like start screaming. You know what I mean?
Who are some artists you think people should check out, and what's the future of Mick Banks?
Yes, sir. Um, yeah. Artists that people should check out. Gotta go with the fam, like Osiris, Stav, Dayella,
Mm.
Julian Deculus. He was the one I was gonna shout out too. He was the one that hit the guitar solo on When It Get Dark.
Oh, wow.
And he's got his own music out. Um, yeah, I mean, really everyone on this project is like all super like amazing, you know, BB So, Don Deca, Lolly, like yeah, go string them all, man. We'll start there.
Fucking amazing.
Um,
Sure.
yeah. And then yeah, and then future of Mick Banks, I honestly don't know. You know what I mean? I will we'll find out. But I think like there's I wanna kind of like there's so many different things that I'm trying to do really, which can sometimes be overwhelming, but I feel like it's a good place to like start. Like I wanna I'm doing some production for like Osiris and Stav and like trying to just be in that role.
Mm.
Um, I'm trying to like kind of like make like a real like well, I don't musically I'm trying all these different things, you know what I mean? I got
Yeah.
some like rock stuff, some like funk
Hey.
stuff, some like
Mm.
more like older rap stuff. Um and so like just trying to figure out where the next album takes me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and yeah, that's basically it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, I mean, Mick Banks, man, the future is bright for sure. And for all those
yeah.
who stuck around and listening, stay out the garage, out now.
I want to thank you for everything, and I love you and I miss you.
Oh my god, it's my God.
I hope to talk to you again.